Hey, good morning, my people. What's up? Today is Saturday, the 21st of March, 2026, and the time right now is 5:51, 9 minutes before the 6 a.m. hour. And I woke up with some things on my mind, and I like to get things off my mind when I have to. As you see my backdrop there, that's Antigua and Barbuda after Irma had passed through. And maybe we could capture that as, or in the words of rebuilding after disaster. Maybe we could do that. Well, I wanted to process some things in my mind before speaking. It's not all the time you jump up and talk and talk, process some things, do some investigations and then speak. So I wanted to do afford myself that opportunity, which I did. So I think I'm in a position that I can speak to a certain degree right now. Well, I've said all the time, and persons who are close to me would know this. I am of the opinion that life is a very simple thing, right? I am of the opinion that life is a very simple thing. But it gets hard when we do not do what we have to do when we have to do it. If you do it before, it could be a problem. And if you certainly procrastinate and wait for things to fester before you do some things, definitely gets worse. So for those persons who are close to me, they would know that I say that all the time. Life is a very simple thing, but it gets hard quickly, especially when we don't do what we have to do when we have to do it. Uh, in my opinion, we are where we are politically on this day today because some persons in a particular political party refuse to accept a decision that was reached democratically, from all that I can see. That position was agreed upon democratically by the majority of persons. Prior prior to that decision being taken, right? Prior to that decision being taken, that democratic position being taken, by a majority, I must add, the said political party was in the ascendancy. They were in an ascendancy, due mainly, in my opinion, to the collective buy-in of its members, one, and most importantly, its supporters, two. They're not one and the same. Membership in the party and persons who support the party is not one and the same. Right? So let me just highlight that again. But that particular party coming out of the 2023 elections, yeah? What we know, 2026? Yes. The 2023 elections, that political party was in its ascendancy, right? And the feeling was there. There was a marriage between the membership and the supporters that was propelling the party forward, right? Then here comes the minority. Here comes the minority that decided to themselves, you know what? We are not accepting what the majority of people say, right? We are not accepting what the majority of people say as per the democratic process in their constitution. And not only we are not accepting it, we are not going to be leaving the party, even though we have a fundamental difference with the majority. We are not going to be leaving the party, and we will continue to advocate for what we want, despite what the majority would have said. And along with that position of the minority, some of their media friends, some of the media friends of this minority began to advocate publicly a message that was and is consistent with the message of the minority who will not accept the majority but are not leaving. So now here we have the minority and their media friends coming together to oppose the majority. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, a media personality is on the record of saying they not move, me not move either. And I'm referring to the message ways. They not move, me not move either. Just check the records and you'll see that what I'm saying. I don't deal in lies. I try not to deal in lies. My mom used to tell me if I'm in the trouble enough lie. I'm certainly in the trouble. No, you know? Anyway, now as a salesman, right? As a salesman, we can accept that the salesman message will change according to its customers, the customers that he or she's trying to sell to, who they're targeted. So taking into consideration the mindset of the majority of our electors, right? The minority and their media friends set about with their marketing strategy. And we heard it. We all heard it, those of us who listen. And voila, we're here today. On the cusp of a snap election, and by my analysis, the governing administration will secure at least 13 of the available 16 constituencies on Antigua. We're not talking about Barbados, we're talking about Antigua. By my analysis, we will know in about 4 to 5 weeks from what I'm hearing. We will know in about 4 to 5 weeks whether or not my analysis is correct or not. The UPP, in my opinion, will totally implode, leaving the political scene to the governing administration for another number of years, whether it's 28 years or more. Or it will accept reality and clean the house in order to firstly, get back to the level that it was coming out of the 2023 general elections and hopefully regain government thereafter. So it's two things, at least in my mind. Get back to where you were, and then hopefully you can continue pushing on. As my backdrop say, try to rebuild from this disaster, this political disaster. I am not a person who love to repeat myself, like I say to people all the time. If you're not talking to children and if you're not talking to people who are mentally impaired, I don't see why I have to be talking over and over. So I don't really get into that. And this will be the last time that I will say this. The UPP needs to replace its political candidate in the St. Mary's South constituency. The UPP need to replace that person. My father used to tell me when he was alive, Dave, you can't pay for treason. If you're found guilty of treason, you can't pay. And let me just add hastily here, as I say treason, I'm referring to in a political sense now, right? In my opinion, what happened along that line, where it got the UPP to this position, as you see in that picture, that is political treason. That is political treason. And I don't think it's a hard feeling or nothing like that. I mean, I'm not, well, from a party standpoint, I don't see it being upset. I just see that that person is not consistent with my message. They can't come. But that's just me. As I said, that's for the party to decide. And that's the last time. Father God, to the best of my ability, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna speak on that. Don't do that. Well, I got an insight into the Labour Party meeting from last night. What they call the executive meeting. But that's what they call it over the years. I got an insight from that. And from what I heard, members were told who the replacement candidates will be. That's candidates with an S. And some might not like certain decisions, but this is how we go. This is what was said to the members. Let us watch and see whether the wider membership of the Labour Party, let us watch and see if they will come out with enthusiasm as they ramp up for a snap election that we hear. Let me say we hear so far. It's coming. Let us watch and see if they get enthusiastic and they carry out, irrespective of what the leader tell them. The leaders have told them, this is the decision, this is what we're going forward with. Let us watch and see. And let's see if they support the damn party. Let us watch and see if they support the damn party. I will bet my last dollar that despite some persons in that party wanting to become leader, if you drop a pin right now, referring to the prospective leader, if you drop a pin right now, you will hear it loud, 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 loud. You wonder to yourself, wait, the pin drop, they amplified. You're not gonna hear nothing at all. I can bet my last dollar on that. I could be wrong. Let us see what time. Let us see what time tells me. So to my thinking, in my opinion, if I was in the UPP in a leadership position, I would be considering sitting out the elections in certain constituencies. Those constituencies that I know I don't have a reasonable chance in winning, I would sit out the elections in those constituencies. As I see it, it might very well save the UPP some psychological damage, right? Taking into effect that the rebuilding that it has been forced into by a minority and their media friends. I think so. I think that um I would sit it out. In those constituencies that I know I can't win. And as I said earlier, I see the Labour Party winning at least 13 out of 16. But now I get into whoever see the UPP win right now. People know that, them they can sort that out. But that would be me. I would begin to concentrate on my rebuilding effort to get back to where I was coming out of 2023 and going forward. Some persons on the UPP side, yeah, then Carrego finally done now. We will see. The Carrego finally done now. The political Carrego finally done now. But time will tell. You know what I mean? Again, as I said, life is very easy. Very easy. But it gets hard when we do not do what we have to do when we have to do it. So that's just my take on that. We will see what the next 4 to 5 weeks bring forth. And then I'm sure, just as I was able to revisit a recording I did back in January, when I was asking a radio personality again to not give us some information, give us all the information as opposed to the poll. And then Wickham came back and told us what it was. I will have maybe God spare life. In 4 to 5 weeks' time, I'll be able to look back at this recording, what I would have suggested or projected, and see whether I was right or wrong. Have a nice day, my people. And bless up yourself and keep safe, please. Keep safe, please. Okay, bless.